While smartphone makers take turns to trump each other for camera megapixels, storage space and processor speed, a mobile OS with the equivalent App Store largely remains the major factor that makes or breaks a phone in the current scenario. The race between the app stores has become a tedious exercise today. Apple says it has 800,000 apps in the App Store. Google Play is about at 800,000 and is likely to hit the million app benchmark before iOS. When it comes to Apple and Android, fans of each will scream at each other that their apps are better, more numerous and generally awesome. The general perception is that iOS apps in Apple's App Store are of better quality than their Android counterparts in Google Play. How Apple gets all the good apps? Well, simply because Apple's rivals, Google, Microsoft and others have brought their apps to iOS platform, but the same doesn't go with Apple. While Android may have a larger overall population of users, iOS users are the ones who tend to pay for their apps. App developers therefore tend to prioritize iPhone and iPad first. It, however, hasn't stopped millions of people from buying cheaper Android smartphones. Google has its own exclusives, or at least it has some apps that offer more features on Android than iOS, such as Google Maps, Google Now and Google Voice. Android dominates smartphone market share with 69.2% to iOS's 22.1%. Android also has a higher smartphone app download share, that is 58% compared with iOS's 33%. The tablet market share sets Android at 48.8% and iOS at 46%. However, considering tablet app download share, iOS dominates with 75% while Android accounts for only 17%. Reports suggest that leading apps downloaded from the Apple App Store tend to be games, while those downloaded from Google Play are more likely to be related to social networking or utilities. Google's app marketplace is indeed starting to catch up to Apple's, but the revenue factor for iOS is a huge one. The App Store has a higher proportion of quality apps thanks to the approval process, meaning developers can and have charged more for their apps. There is a safe community that people trust, and people are more accustomed to the App Store's payment process from years of iTunes downloads. Apple's higher quality standards also mean that people are more trusting of the App Store apps to be free of snooping or malicious code. There's still no guarantee of quality or safety on the Android market, plus there's a lot of counterfeiting and a lot of apps that simply aren't any good. Another reason why iOS scores higher is because of tablet apps. In iOS, just about every iPhone app that is available is also designed specifically for the iPad. But on Android tablets, a large proportion of the apps you can run on Android tablets are just the phone apps stretched to fit the larger display.